All right, everybody, welcome back to the after show for episode number 53 of FinalBossTV. Talk about melee, rogues, and Windwalker monks specifically with Calligraphy and Vigilate. Hello, everybody, welcome back. Bop, bop.
Hey,
Bop.
well, thank you so much.
So excited.
Thanks for having me on today.
So excited.
Well, I can't always tell when you switch the camera just because we can't see. I'm not looking at the show.
Nah, that's good. Whenever I say hello here or whatever, it makes funny noise. That's usually when I'm switched it. So, yeah. Nope, it's there. We're good to go. People can see your faces.
Yep, people can see me play with my hair some more.
Of course, right? Of course. I mean, someone else
I'm always
has to
pushing it out of my. Somebody commented on that earlier, and I was like,
Yeah.
you just never see me doing it because I'm always pushing it out of my eye because I hate to like tie it all the way back, but then it always like falls in front of my face. So
Yeah, because if you tie it back with the headphones, it always gets kind of like itchy. At least for
actually,
me.
I hook mine into my earphones right there, so I have enough, but not all of it. I need a haircut though before I go to LA because my hair's a mess right now. But
I have no idea what it's like having hair on my eyes.
I have more hair on my head right now than Calli does, so
Oh yeah, no, look at this.
yeah, that's nothing. Where'd it go?
I ate
Wild. You ate?
I was
Gross.
really hungry.
Hair. Ooh. So yeah, if you guys have questions for our guests about rogues, beta, or Windwalker monks, go for it. You can either
I
tweet.
can start off with a question that
Sure.
came in chat earlier, but unfortunately I didn't write down who it was from. Let me see if I did.
Just say it was from Gal. It's fine.
I'll say it was from Gal. So if this was your question where I said, man, that's a great idea, then you need to speak up in chat right now. But somebody said since the release event is happening soon, we should all in this show say what our guesses are for the release of Warlords. So we should get them in. We should get them on video right now so that we can't backtrack and we can say, "I told you so." When they
That's a good question. That could have been from Gal. That's a good question.
No, it wasn't from Gal. It was from somebody whose name started with a J. So.
Ah, yes, gotcha.
I don't know if it was yours, Chris Crazy. I don't think that you were the one who said it. But
Let me pull up my calendar real quick here.
I'll start off because I have a prediction, and my prediction is November 11th or whatever the Tuesday is after BlizzCon. I think that it's going to launch the week. I think it's going to launch the week after BlizzCon.
I hope it's after BlizzCon because I know a lot of people who are going and a lot of them are hardcore raiders, and if it releases like the week before BlizzCon, like people are going to be really pissed.
If it releases at all before BlizzCon, I'm just going to be peeved that I already bought my plane tickets. Like that's
exactly.
I would have not flown. I would have flown less days if it releases before BlizzCon.
Calli, what do you think before I do my tinfoil hat?
I think we're probably going to see 6.0 around the middle of October, and then probably either right after BlizzCon or right before December. It's going to be in that area right there, but probably no later than Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I am definitely with you all on the after BlizzCon point. However, I really think it's the first week of December.
First week of December.
I think it's first week of December and no mythic raids until January 6th. They'll
That's a long way before there's actually raiding.
Well, no,
Oh my God,
no
that's
mythic
so
raids. So if you give, so December 9th, right? Follow me on this one. December 9th, we get the game. We get the whole week till the 16th. 16th unlock normal and heroic rating. You get 2 weeks of that. Then the 6th, mythic. After the holidays are done, over with, they're out of the way. Everyone's back from New Year's. Mythic for 3 weeks for High Mall, and then that 3 weeks after that, you get Mythic Blackrock. So Mythic High Mall at the beginning of January, Mythic Blackrock at the end of January.
I think that's interesting, and I think that you could make a similar argument with the October release date that they could delay raids a little bit so that the raids didn't open until after
raids
BlizzCon.
until after BlizzCon, sure.
Yeah. I also think there's a pretty good argument to be made for the nostalgia value of releasing Warlords at the 10-year anniversary, which would be the 23rd or something like that in November.
Uh-huh.
Hey, for all we know, they could pull a Wrath of the Lich King, release the expansion on Thursday.
Yeah, they could.
Well,
that's right.
I
Wrath
guess
of the
they
Lich
couldn't
King
release
did not
it on
release on a Tuesday.
The 23rd, since
They
that would
can't.
actually
No,
be
because
Sunday.
we have to get Watchers post of a couple weeks in advance that we're gonna get 6.0 on live, and 6.0 on live needs to be at least 2 weeks.
Well,
but
yeah,
he said he
I mean,
wants
2 weeks.
probably 2 to 4 because we're gonna get the mythic changeover, the item squish, all that kind of good stuff. So I would imagine 6.0 on live will be at least 4 weeks before we get the expansion.
1 month.
I mean, we'll know on Tuesday.
But we're getting our bets out right now. to see who's
What
right.
Wednesday?
Oh, I know, right? We're just writing down. We're
we'll know on
recording
Thursday.
our bets so that we'll know who's correct after Thursday when we know for sure.
The problem I see with like the Thanksgiving launch is that if they do a Thanksgiving launch, would they delay Mythic until January anyway? Or would they give us Mythic High Mall, but then we still have High Mall Mythic during Christmas, New Year's, which is like 2 weeks of vacation for most people.
I mean, I hate to say it, but we're probably going to see some Mythic progression during one of the holidays.
Mythic progression during
we are.
Christmas,
We're
New
always.
Year's.
I mean, for a lot of guilds. I mean, like guilds like Legion,
Well,
Method,
this will-
like, I'm pretty sure like they might be able to like skirt
hope
having
not.
to, you know, actually raid during Christmas. But I mean, for a lot of guilds, they're probably going to get it stuck with that at some point.
Well, we know one thing for sure. It will release sometime between August 14th and December 21st.
Yeah.
Sometime between.
Yeah.
And actually, Link.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just trying to scroll up here. Linky Binky brings up a good point because the anniversary events require you to be max level, and I've heard people make a pretty good argument that because the anniversary events are limited in time, they've very specifically said that those anniversary events are not going to be there forever. So I was thinking that it's totally okay if the anniversary events release right after the launch if they're going to leave them open for a whole tier. But if they're really going to have the anniversary events only exist for a couple of weeks, then I feel like the anniversary events have to come before Warlords launches or well after Warlords launches so that people have time to level to 100.
I mean, the anniversary events, I can't imagine them lasting more than 2 weeks, to be honest. I think a month would be a long time, but 2 weeks sounds pretty good. But
and it's from what they've said. They've said, like, people have said, oh, we want this to be for a long time. And the developers have tweeted, like, things like, oh, it's not going to be out for very long. We don't think it would be fun out for very long.
Which is true. It's totally true.
I guess we'll see soon.
Basically, the big contingency is people that think it's right after BlizzCon, or I think it's right first week of December.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some delusional people that think it's coming out in September. But
Yeah.
they're
September?
delusional.
That's
Yes.
impossible.
We would need
I have
6-0
seen that
like
on the
next
forums.
Tuesday
I'm like-
then on live.
I'm like, that's not even possible at this point.
I mean, people were thinking too because of mid-October or before Brewfest and Halloween because we've data mined the level 100 Halloween and Brewfest stuff, but they updated all the holiday stuff to 100, so that doesn't matter. That doesn't even count because every holiday next year has level 100 rewards, so that doesn't matter. So that doesn't matter. I don't know. September release would really we would need 6-0 on like right now, like Tuesday. We need 6-0 on live, basically.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't think that because 6-0 is taking out the challenge mode gear and things like that, they're going to give us warning
There
for 6-0.
has to be an announcement, a 2-week warning at least.
I think they have
weeks.
to give us warning.
Of course.
So.
It's the end of the PvP season and the end of challenge mode season for MoP. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just love playing the guessing games.
Of course. I mean, I said it before. They're sort of damned if they do, damned if they don't. Like they're in a tough predicament regardless of when it launches. But I would rather have it even launch December 20th if it was just a great expansion than getting it out a month earlier just to have bugs and have all those hot fixes and stuff in the first raid tier. So, or whatever, something breaks and Ret Paladins are doing 100,000 DPS because of some stupid bug. You wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
So,
Remember
and it's
that
obviously
Dragon Soul farm.
the Dragon Soul. Oh yeah, and it's the largest expansion we have ever gotten in every scope you look at. So, I'm fine with waiting a little longer for the biggest expansion to World of Warcraft ever. So.
Interesting. Geth says that 5.0 was 2 weeks after the MoP date announcement.
No,
so
correct.
2 weeks might be reasonable.
But yeah, so 2 weeks after next month, though, still 2 weeks after this week, still gives us the 2nd of September. But then that gives us 6-0 for. They're not going to release it at the end of September because then BlizzCon's right the next week. Not next week, but like right before, and then Mythic goes into BlizzCon week. So. Rawr, we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Sorry, I guess we can move on to another question now. It's just
I'll
thought that was really
be there
interesting.
on Thursday live tweeting, and then I'll make a video about it. I'll make
I'm
a BTS,
so jealous that you're going, and I'm
Aw.
jealous of all of the watchers of Final Boss who can make it as well. I really wanted to go to that event, but unfortunately being all the way across the country makes it very difficult.
I think my only criticism for that event was that we heard about it so close to it actually happening. I kind of wish it was updated earlier. I don't think it was like a hugely. It had to be planned though, with Ace Theater and like booking it and stuff. I don't know. I wish I would have known more than the week in advance because that's an expensive plane ticket. All right. All right. Worth it though, but damn. Yeah. Are we all going to BlizzCon here, by the way? Vigil, Calli?
Yep.
BlizzCon?
Yep.
Got you there.
Still working on how to make that happen, but yep. It's very
Archie, well,
expensive.
shut up.
I have a car you can sleep in, or maybe a floor.
I actually think my guild is having a house, so that won't be the issue. Just flying across the country is a big thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of guilds are, copying what Midwinter did last BlizzCon and renting a house. So
Oh
going
yeah,
up
we
them.
blatantly
Doesn't
copied
Midwinter
Midwinter.
have
That
two?
was such a great
Yes,
idea.
Midwinter is renting 2 houses to one up everyone
Does
because
BL have 2 or only 1?
we've got like 10 retired raiders that are saying, "Hey, yeah, we're coming."
Oh, wow.
To BlizzCon.
Yeah.
I think I'm exaggerating with 10 retired raiders, but
Oh,
Got a
I
lot
think
of
that
people
at
coming.
least a third of the people who are coming from Something Wicked are retired, who aren't raided at all
Yeah.
anymore, and they just really want to see people and to make it a vacation where we see our friends. So
pretty much.
People are asking me what the whole point of my video is. So they're live streaming the launch event and release date and stuff like that. They're live streaming that part. But there's a lot more to going to one of these live events than just what's live casted. Like seeing the people that are there, the venue that we're in, random shots of the devs all there, people having fun. It's like a mini little BlizzCon before BlizzCon happens. So
The drinking parties before
Well,
and
maybe.
after BlizzCon.
why I'm recording it in the first place is to make a video to show everyone else what it's like to go to one of these events. Because this is, I think, the first time Blizzard's done something like this, kind of lickety-splittish. I mean, I've only been media for like a year and a half now, but like, I think this is the only time I've ever done it. I can't remember, unless Chatroom wants to correct me on like a random event they've done like at this level. I mean, going to like E3 or PAX is different, but like this, like, random thing. I think it's the first time I've ever done this before. I think.
Didn't they have like some like streaming thing where like a Legion got stomped in challenge modes during the mop release?
Challenge modes?
Yeah, I remember like during the mop release they had like Blizzard developers versus like Blood Legion doing challenge modes, and like the Blizzard developers like
Well,
stomped.
that was just a live streamed event. It
Yeah.
wasn't actually hosted some venue.
Well, no,
that's
it was
what I
like
mean.
actually hosted at like some convention.
was it
place.
really?
Like there was a crowd outside and shit.
Elvine says that they've done it for other games, but this is the first time they've done it for WoW.
Ah.
So- Yeah, I'm not going to question Elvine.
Right.
it tends to be pretty knowledgeable on
he
those
would know.
matters.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, that was my question that I had from chat. I hadn't recorded anymore. So, chat, if you've got questions for our guests, make sure that you ask or tweet at FinalBossTV.
Yep.
We're just we're just sitting here with you guys for another 10 minutes or so. Just let us know what you want to ask about, whatever.
Sanch, no one trusts you at all either.
I mean, Earthshaper, they had to replace it with something. At least not like an empty spot on your yak. So,
Yeah,
I-
sorry. Slash care on that
yeah,
one.
yeah. Look like Celeste on the thing in chat. It was like at the Irvine Spectrum outdoor mall near Blizzard.
the CM competition.
Yep.
Yes. Interesting. That was just like, I guess that kind of qualifies as like a last minute sort of, well, not last minute, but like this sort of feeling like a little lickety split event thing. I guess that kind of counts. Sure. They've never unveiled their launch trailer for the game though at this sort of venue. Usually it's always been at either an online release or at BlizzCon, but because the one we got at BlizzCon last year was just the in-game cinematic teaser trailer, not the actual CGI launch trailer.
Well, okay. To be fair, when they announced the MOP release date, and I believe also, I know they well, it wasn't the MOP release date, but it was like the MOP cinematic. They showed it off at GamesCon for 2011,
Oh,
which
okay.
was in August.
Digging
And
back.
this is, and GamesCon is actually August 14th and 15th, I believe.
Right.
So, because if you actually like look at the whole schedule, I originally like that's where they said like some World of Warcraft announcement at X hour on August 14th.
That's
so,
right. And that's
Yeah.
for my media
technically,
time.
technically
so-
they're just doing this for like the US side, but it is actually for GamesCon.
Spaz was saying it was 2012 Gamescom, not 2011. I mean, that's just a date mix
Well,
up maybe, but
Yeah, it had to be 2012.
Okay.
Not 2011. I'm a
Here's a question that came in from chat. Wait, I see people answering it, but I don't see where the question was asked. Here we
Oh.
go, from Rectangle. Favorite beta boss, raid and dungeon. Do you have one?
The stable boss.
I know
so
Calli.
far.
I know Calli's saying in chat that she liked the one boss that dropped the loot.
Yeah, that was more a joke at this one because she asked, "Oh, what was your favorite boss?" I like that one. There was one that I watched that had a ton of ads, and I'm actually really excited for Windwalker because I know that we're going to be very strong for that one.
Stable
Since
boss.
yeah, basically he had a ton of ads on a beach, and I'm like, yeah, that's going to be a Windwalker boss right there. So I'm pretty excited about that one.
Oh, on a beach? Wait, what?
Yeah, it was some VOD that I was watching for a raid test. Like a bunch of spores and all that kind of crap.
Yes, it was Lord
that's different.
Lord Brackenspore.
Brackenspore, yeah. That one looks pretty exciting.
No,
yeah,
I
hate
about...
ad fights, but yeah, I hate
I mean,
fights,
there actually weren't like many ads in Melee. It was just the boss and one ad. Two target cleave.
Right.
Yeah, which I like fights like that because monks are very good
I mean, there are ads in ranged, but the ranged are like focusing on them.
Yeah, I meant Beast Lord Darmak, who is the boss that jumps on different mounts, and he summons ads every periodically, so there's like lava lashes and flame shocks and fire novas everywhere.
Yeah,
Crushing Jade Wind.
Exactly.
Combat fight.
Excuse me, sorry, I mispronounced that. Crushing Jade Wind.
Crushing Jade Wind.
Crushing. Right.
Love it.
Yeah.
I don't know. We had our Windwalker in there testing Beast Lord, and he was getting crushed by my Fire Nova spam. So we'll see when numbers get tuned. Fire Nova is so stupid good right now, though. It's like our best DPS at like 3 targets, which is silly, but whatever. So we'll see.
Coltrane asks a question for Calli, and I know that he was concerned about this earlier. Are you having fun playing Windwalker and Warlords? Not about gear or damage, but just is it fun to play?
Is that because Coltrane wants to play some monk named Rectified? Or in Rectified, I'm sorry. Right. I can't do the sounder. I don't have a... Pat, give me your sounder. I need it.
Yeah. Goodness. I think that the general feel of the class is a little bit different. I'm still really enjoying it. I've mostly gotten a lot of dungeon and leveling feels for it at this point, and it doesn't feel horribly different to me other than feeling undergeared and maybe not as overpowered as I am right now in live. But I still think it's a very fun class to play. I mean, obviously fun is going to vary from person to person.
True, okay.
Yeah. I mean, we're not enhancement shamans where we're hitting things all the time, apparently, but I'm sure some of that'll get toned down.
Right. Okay.
George the Druid asks, how do you feel about the adaptable tier changes where you only need a 1 tier piece for all specs?
Oh, thank God.
You can't see my thumbs up on screen, but it's the entire camera.
Well, we have hybrid, and then pure class, so...
Right. So we care. Vigil's just like, yeah, whatever.
Vigil's like, probably, whatever.
Yeah, for me, what are we gonna do with all those Vanquisher tokens?
Give them to rogues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that you don't still need multiple tier pieces so that you can like optimize each one. But I think since sockets are going to be much rarer, then that's probably not going to be something that we're going to do.
And if there are sockets on your tier gear, they're always going to be there anyway. So if they,
I also have a question from Cyclonus asks my usual question since I didn't ask it. What is your favorite raid boss, not the beta bosses? Like, what is your favorite raid boss that you've done in the past? And you don't get to say Lei Shen because we've had too many people answer Lei Shen.
I almost say you can't say Black Fuse either.
And you can't say Black Fuse either because we've had too many people say Black Fuse. So aside from those two.
Right.
Nether Spite.
Nether Spite, interesting.
All the way back from Karazhan.
Oh, you didn't... Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was just a wonderful boss. I loved Karazhan. I would love to go back there because it is absolutely one of my favorite instances, and he was one of my favorite bosses in there.
Vigil?
Very cool.
Favorite boss? I'll say Alone in the Darkness.
Oh, Yogg-Saron. Well,
yeah,
definitely one of the best tiers ever made, and Alone in the Darkness was a really great achievement. So.
Well, I wanted to go back on what Calli said, because there's still... Because they had the whoopsie doodle, and then it got logged on YouTube, and then it hasn't been talked about since, but... And they're also doing the LFR Scale Up Molten Core for the anniversary event. They have the technology. Time Walker difficulty, please. Blizz, Time Walker difficulty. That you can raid any raid or dungeon at max level, and it will scale you appropriately.
That would be amazing. I would definitely want to go back and do Kara again.
So many
Yep.
times.
SSC and TK at level? The feels. The
yeah.
feels right there.
The feels.
I don't think it would feel the same, obviously, of being at level in the expansion, because obviously things have changed, but...
You have more abilities and stuff. Like, it wouldn't feel quite the same, but it would be closer. It would be so
you're
much
not
better.
going to one-shot Kael'thas, right? Like, you're going to take, multiple phases
Oh.
to do his things, so, yeah. Time
I
Walker
don't know.
difficulty.
I really don't think it would. I think you could pretty much one-shot if it was LFR difficulty.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. Well, you're not going to kill him in one hit. You're going to need a raid group. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. You'll need a
True.
raid group. Like, you can't Time Walker Karazhan and 3-man it. It wouldn't work that way. Because
It would
you'd have levels, 60 stats. Or
It
70
would just be
stats,
interesting.
right?
Blood
Yeah.
DK.
It
See,
would
I
be
actually have
interesting
gone
to
back
me.
and done these. I've done a lot of these at 60 and 70, I mean, they were super easy.
Right.
I know we 10-manned a lot of the content, but it was still neat because we saw watered down easy versions of a lot of the
Right.
mechanics, and
That
it was fun.
has to deal with coefficient changes
Mhm.
as
Of
expansions
course.
came out.
And more ability. You have more abilities. There are more classes than existed back then.
Not even just that. Like, what, at level 60 you have twice as much health as you did in Classic. I
Well, that's what
remember
I'm
back
saying,
in
though.
Classic.
We
Like
have-
even if you had dungeon gear, you were lucky to have 3k health.
But that's
depending on your class.
they have the squish in the game for all the stats. We already are down below 50k DPS right now, at least the starting tier. And I think if they know how to do that, they can make us have 4k health for vanilla raids. Like if we do a 40-man AQ40, everyone has 3 or 4k health and does damage equivalent. So it would feel like you're doing 40-man Cthulhu. Like that's what I mean. It'd be a little different, obviously, because of coefficients and stuff. But I think they can probably get it pretty close. We'll have to see how Molten Core feels, because if 40-man Molten Core is every boss dies in a minute, they just get cheddar cheese steamrolled. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we gotta. Yeah, I just really like doing that stuff, even if some of the abilities are easier. And my favorite part about doing some of the old stuff is that people really have rose-tinted glasses when they look back on a lot of these abilities.
True.
I remember
Yeah.
clearly we were doing Cthulhu, and multiple people in my raid group were like, man, did they slow the beam down? Because this beam is really slow. And then we went back and looked at videos, because those of us who have done Duramu were like, this is easy shit. And then we go back and look at videos, and it's like, nope, that's how slow the I-beam always was.
Yeah, it's really
Best.
funny to me
Okay,
because
People people forget
Yeah.
that people in Classic were awful at the game.
Yeah,
Yes.
people were just bad.
That's what I
I'm
was-
not even talking. I'm
that's what
not
I
even
was
talking
gonna
about
say.
the average 5-man. I'm talking about
Everyone
world
was.
first competing guilds like Drama.
Mhm.
Tiger Lady are one of Midwinter's Dresser Druids. He raided with Drama back in the day, and he tells stories all the time about how awful people in that guild were. The first staff they gave, which was to a holy priest, this holy priest could not heal without the emergency alert thing and CT raid assist. So when they broke it, that person couldn't even heal anymore. This isn't a world first level guild here. That's how awful
Yeah.
people were back then.
as
Yeah,
a base,
like
we
you
have
said.
gotten a lot better.
Right,
A
of course.
lot better. And people they complain about how easy the game has become. Oh god, it's so easy now. I get this conversation almost every week, and I'm like, okay, first of all, Heroic is not LFR, it's not the same thing. Yes, the same mechanics, it's buffed up though, and I'm like, we've also just gotten better as a player base. I mean, what do we all know? How many times do we preach, okay, don't stand on fire? Because that's become a mantra.
I mean, the only mechanic on the first raid boss, if you don't count Strath and Sholomance being raids or Upper Black Expire or whatever, was dispel the magic debuff and tank the ads.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Rose-tinted glasses, it was so hard. No, we just didn't know what the hell we were doing. Second
Yeah, and we do
mechanic,
have a lot more tools now.
don't stand in fire, and Fear Ward the tank.
Yeah.
That was it.
Keep in mind, probably half your raid was AFK.
Oh yeah.
Well, all the hunters were AFK.
Yeah.
Correction.
I mean, I played a paladin back then, and outside of doing my bossing shit, during trash, I was always AFK. Would come back for bosses.
Right.
I was that guy.
We'll see. That's why I almost think that the pruning and stuff, why we harped on it so earlier about the GCD capping and the overwhelmingness of certain classes. I think the pruning is a avenue to take less focus away from your hotbars, dot snapshotting as well for certain classes. Take your eyes off the hotbar or your tell me when or your weak auras and look at the actual boss. So you can actually make more difficult boss with different mechanics that require more paying attention to them, because Blizzard sort of understands that everyone has to like look at their hotbars all the time now, or at least right now, because there's so many freaking buttons and abilities and cooldowns and whatever. So we'll see if that actually becomes what happens. But I think they can make more intricate bosses because you can pay attention to them more, and that's the skill cap, not your action buttons.
Well, I know that we're going to have to wrap up soon, but I do have another really cool question that came in from chat from FreshKid85, and he's got a question for both of our guests here. If you could make a talent for your class, no matter how OP, what would it be? We'll go with you first, Calli, and then we'll go to Vig.
That face, though.
Ooh, I took you by surprise. I should have probably given you a heads up before I asked this.
Yeah, because honestly, like I said, the only thing I would remove is Chi Explosion right now and just buff Serenity. I actually really like where Monk is at the moment. There's not terribly much I would change other than that. You're
not going to suggest a raid cooldown talent?
Okay, it would be nice
Monk's
for
beautiful soloers who don't need no raid CD.
We're a big, strong melee class. We don't need no raid CD, but I would like to see maybe a raid-wide CD for the 10% buff versus having it be consistent. I mean, consistency is good, I think, but it would be nice maybe to have a CD to buff it. That would make us very strong and powerful.
Yeah.
I don't know, 40% raid speed for 40 seconds or something? That would be horrible.
But something along those lines.
I'm just copying Bloodlust.
Is that Bloodlust for your feet?
Or like, or it's Stampeding Roar. So
very heroic feat there.
Very heroic feat.
Yeah. How about you, Vig? You had a bit more warning.
Yes, I've got kind of two. One, this is like the just cholish one. Fan of Knives now deals 500% more initial damage, and also interrupts all casts. Just bring it back to the Wrath of the Lich King, Fan of Knives. Which did exactly that.
Interrupt everything always.
Yes. Yep, that's what it did in Wrath. And the other one is like actually somewhat serious. Shadowblades is a talent.
Interesting.
It's a fun. It is a fun ability. I'm sad to see it go in WoD, especially for assassination.
I see. Interesting. Very cool.
What would you add to Paladins, Anna, or Ret specifically?
Oh God, I have to answer this.
You asked it. What do you got? What do you got?
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, I would, if I could add a talent for my class, no matter how OP, honestly, before this week, I would have said the tier 16 4-piece, but then they gave that to us. So I would probably want Consecration back in Retribution, because I miss Consecration. So I would throw something else into a talent and bring back Consecration. So.
While we're all answering this, I think I may or may not speak for most of the enhancement community when I say that we've always sort of felt like we do the same thing no matter what the boss is doing for 6 to 10 minutes. We have no, outside of our RNG of our rotation now, which becomes a little greater in Warlords, is I've always thought that why don't we have Lava Burst as an execute? So
that's actually a good one.
When we
I
get
do like that. Maelstrom
procs under 35, 30, 20%, whatever, Lightning Bolt turns into Lava Burst. I'm just...
Yeah.
We only have one fire, like, we have the different iterations, how many, like, spells you have on each shaman spec or whatever, but, like, I don't know, I always thought we had it before. They took it away. We never had it again. I just felt like that would be neat, wouldn't it? No?
Yep.
So, I don't
know. A lot cooler.
We'll see. We'll see. Some way to bring it in. I mean, I was suggesting, too, that Elemental Shaman didn't just have Chain Lightning for AoE. When they actually were Chain Lightning, they would have the option to use Earth Shock, or they could use, if they get Forked Lightning in a way, which is like Earth Shock, but it's a multi-target, like a cone, and it splits the damage evenly among everything you can get. Instead of having Fulmination on one target, you can Forked Lightning and do the same Fulmination damage you would to one target, but to everything, for the same cost of Fulmination, of course.
And it would have to have a really awesome graphic. Like, you would definitely need the Sith Lord, like when Chain Lightning was bugged and it was hitting every target, like, that's what you would need. And maybe purple.
I'm doing the Sith face right now, but you can't see it, but it's great.
I'll imagine it. I'll imagine it.
Chat room will know. So, I don't know.
In fact, you should have a talent to change the color of your spells. Like, everybody should have that. Like, I love that warlocks can get green fire, but everybody should have more control over their spell effects. I think that would be cool.
We'll see if
Windwalkers
that
It would have to
do.
be like a minor glyph or something, not a talent.
We do. We actually have a couple that like changes the color of our RSK, and one that changes our Crackling Jade Lightning, because every monk's spec ever uses Crackling Jade Lightning.
Oh, and
a
I
lot.
guess I have one that changes my seal to the old Seal of Blood animation, and I actually use that one, but because I always liked that, but I forgot that I have it because I always just have it on. And one that makes my horse sparkly. Yeah, I have that one too.
Shabadoo, don't
Sparkly
suggest
Penny.
that. That's too good.
Rogues can get in WoD. Rogues can get poison effects on their weapons again through enchants.
What did Shabadoo suggest?
To make Elemental Fusion, which is a new talent for 100 shamans, to make it combined all shocks available for the spec instead of having its weird interaction it has now. So if you flame shock, you also get the slow or whatever, or if you whatever, it does all shocks as one button. So you get the damage, the dot, the slow on one button. So it would be too good. Would be too good. But I mean, that's the whole point of that question anyway. So I don't know. I mean, I think the more I was to say, the art team and stuff like that, obviously they're busy with the visual upgrades now and stuff. But we're gonna get like the possibilities of like the cosmetic, like, you know, like paladins would have like the Liberum on their belt or whatever, or hunters will have actually have quivers or whatnot, or back again. Stuff like that would be neat. Again, I want shamans to actually have totems on their backs, like shamans do. That would be interesting. Yeah, like the poison thing for you guys. I don't know if you're super nostalgic for poisons.
Alioke says as a mage he wants Khadgar's Rainbow Bomb, and I completely agree.
Oh my god,
mages should get Rainbow Bomb.
I highlighted that on FinalBossTV where he does the Rainbow Bomb. So good. He's a tri-spec mage all the time. You're jealous though.
And
Or
actually,
maybe he
one of
just
the
isn't spec on
coolest
anything.
Right.
One of the coolest spell effects is one that I actually never see because I'm always zoomed way far out. But for Holy Avenger, not everybody knows this, but when you cast Holy Avenger, if you're spec'd into it, your weapon changes into Ashbringer.
Not anymore,
which is
though.
The
It
best thing.
does that in WoD.
It doesn't do that in Warlords.
It turns into something cool, but it's not Ashbringer anymore. Ashbringer is
A hammer.
The worst. No,
I think
Ashbringer's
swords
the
are cooler than
best.
aces.
Yeah, swords are the best weapon. They really are.
That is a major nerf to.
But,
A major nerf to
ability.
awesomeness.
but if you want to get lore-ish, paladins use maces only.
I know if you want to get loorish. I always transmog into swords, but that's because I really like swords.
And the Seraphim graphic is
same
pretty
here.
cool too. You combine Seraphim with Avenging Wrath and Holy Avenger, it looks pretty neat. You look like a paladin, you have this crazy holy mace, and you have the holy crown above your head and the holy wings going on. So no,
Butterfly
you
wings.
don't get Ashbringer anymore, as far as I know. For
No, and
paladins.
technically, lore-wise, paladins definitely do not just use maces.
Well, no, of course, until the sword event, but like
Hey, the sword off of Lich King. What's it called again?
what do you mean?
I don't know. There's like a 200 sword off Lich King. Its flavor text on heroic is High Blade of the Silver Hand. So
Novel.
definitely use swords in lore.
Novel, please. No, I mean, in all the older games, they've always
Glorn
had
Zelg.
maces
Glorn
on them.
Zelg's the name.
Oh, interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
They definitely use swords.
Interesting. I'm not saying it's only, but like that, it looks very paladinish, the new effects, but it isn't. It is no longer Ashbringer. So,
That's too
well, it is. It is. Gotta get out of the after show music. Anything else from chat or anything like that, guys? Any last little bit questions? I think we're good to go here. That was about 30 minutes.
Yep.
Rain of Frogs, best
combat.
spell.
Yep, pretty much.
Buff combat. Oh my gosh, the button timing. Alrighty, friends. Again, thank you guys for joining us today. We had Vigilate from Midwinter. You can go follow him on the Twitter at Vigilate_Midwinter. Again, sir, thank you for being on
It's
the show.
MW_MW.
Oh, what did I say?
Underscore Midwinter.
Oh, well, it is MW Midwinter.
Here,
That's
I'll
fine.
link it and we'll
That's
solve
fair.
this problem.
My bad. Talking too long. Get that mouth diarrhea. No big deal. But thank you again, sir. It was awesome. We also had Calligraphy on Twitter as Calli Monk. Thank you for being on the show, Calli.
Yep.
Always
thanks
a
for having
pleasure.
me.
NFL, look out, the FinalBossTV over on Twitter at NFL.
Yes, at Anafeel.
That's where you will find her. And of course, myself, I have my personal Twitch channel, but mostly I do a lot of streaming on this actual channel here for beta testing and streaming and rating and stuff like that. So you'll see me here. And of course, now the links are all down below for our social media, our Facebook, our YouTube, our Twitter, our website. All the stuff goes right there. You can find us, of course, all our VODs go up the next day. They'll be up tomorrow, both the main show and after show. And then we're also on iTunes and Stitcher if you want to listen to the audio-only version. But there are 52 prior episodes of Final Boss TV. There's tons of stuff out there. And, of course, we're doing the same thing again when the actual game launches again, too. Interviewing every class and spec. Next week, of course, we're sitting down with Keetal, the director and animator behind the War of the Ancients machinima movie. And then Vanille will be there as well, too. He did all the character modeling. We'll do his BTS stuff with them and have a little bit of a community spotlight on that movie. It comes out on the 16th of this month. So we'll see you all there. If you're going to be in LA for the cinematic launch event, I will see you there as well. If not, we'll see you here next Sunday for the special event interview. And until then, guys, have a great week. Have a good reset. Trust in the coin. Until later, guys. Bye-bye. Bye. Say bye.
See you guys later.
Fidge.
Bye.